When I first started doing content, it was such a strange thing because I didn't intend on doing YouTube. I didn't intend on, anybody really watching or caring. And, thankfully, or whatever, how you look at it, people pretty much don't care now again as it is. But overall, I think I just was happy. I was kind of just a happy dude that was excited for the upcoming Xbox, and PlayStation didn't really have anything that was particularly enticing to me, and that sort of took off from there. I've always had multiple consoles. Usually I end up with all the consoles every generation by some particular point, but I've always had every Xbox day one. I haven't always had every PlayStation day one, but I've always had every Xbox day one. I guess you could say it really kind of appealed to me, like when I was getting into online games and things like that. But honestly, I've noticed quite a bit lately, and if you guys watched Crossfire podcast the other day, you probably saw I had like a meltdown on it, where really it wasn't particularly the person himself that I was melting. It really didn't have anything to do with him. I mean, yeah, I attacked him, and it was my fault because I let that get to me. But in general, I think the problem was that I wasn't venting properly about how I feel about things, right? And maybe it's because of who I'm interacting with on social media. Maybe it's because I'm following the wrong people or interacting with the wrong people or seeing the wrong stories. But it does almost seem to me like we've gotten to a point where it's cool to hate Xbox again for the most minute, ridiculous reasons. And that to me is kind of unacceptable. And people want to know why I feel that way or what's changed, or they think that it's a flip-flop situation or whatever, and it's not. Like, originally Xbox was just such a better place for me, the Xbox One was, in terms of the games, than PlayStation. And PlayStation came back and had great games, and I think PlayStation is a great console, and I think that company does a lot for consumers, and they try to do right by their fans, and they do a good job with it. But they have a contingent of fan that is just annoying as hell. I guess maybe annoying like I was. Maybe I could see that a little bit, but it's like, damn. So, and I did a video about it. I talked about it on the podcast, and people were talking about this Greenberg tweet where he retweeted VG Charts thing. I don't think VG Charts is accurate, but I didn't take him as saying that, hey, this is a success. This is exactly what we've sold or whatever. I just took him as it meaning, look, Xbox is a success. Thank you. Let's move on. Like, and people just were like, oh, well, here's this tweet from 12 years ago where Greenberg was saying he doesn't trust VG charts. It's like everybody has some kind of weird excuse as to why Xbox sucks. They did suck. They went through a couple year period without releasing a AAA exclusive, but things are much better now. They're about to have 34 studios working on content. Things like Call of Duty are going in Game Pass day one, Overwatch 2, Diablo 4, whatever it is. These games are all going to be Game Pass day one. I understand because I was there hating on Game Pass for a portion. You can probably find tweets to that effect. You can probably find podcast words to that effect. But the simple fact of the matter is, the truth of the matter is, I was afraid of Game Pass. And that sounds silly, but to be honest with you, Game Pass was a scary situation because I am a old school gamer. I still buy games, but I like digital games too. I just couldn't see how there had to be some catch, right? What kind of company gives you access to hundreds of games for such a low price, and they keep adding to it, right? They keep literally. It's like they'll probably be adding Ubisoft stuff to it on the regular basis. EA Access or whatever it is part of it. Like, it's an unbelievable value, so I get why people are wary of it, because that's the society we live in. We live in a society where we look a gift horse in the mouth. We want to make sure that it's not some kind of scam or something. But honestly, it's just quite frankly the best deal in the game, and it's an option. There's nothing saying that people can't buy their games or anything. I'm the perfect example of this. I've come around to Game Pass quite recently, that it's a great value. But at the same time, I buy so many games, it's not even funny. Like Lego Star Wars is one that I just bought. That's I'm having a blast with that. WWE 2K22. I bought the NWO edition of that game. Right? Like, that's a big purchase. Like, I buy games more than the average person, complaining that people on Xbox don't buy games. Right? It's funny to me. I bought the collector's edition of Horizon Forbidden West. I buy a ton of games, but I also love Game Pass. I think that there is very little correlation there. But the simple fact of the matter is, I was afraid of Game Pass. And that's the simple fact of the matter is, I was afraid of Game Pass. I think that there is very little correlation there. But the simple fact of the matter is, I was afraid of Game Pass. I think that there is very little correlation there. But this annoying type of fan, all right? And I pointed this out a little bit, and this was why I was feeling the way that I felt. I just, like, I had been seeing this, like, Netflix had suffered a bit of a drop in subscribers. They're forecasting more drop in subscribers. Their stock plummeted. And people are retweeting this. Gamers are retweeting this because they feel like that's what's going to happen to Game Pass. It's faux concern. It's different than what I was doing when I was complaining about Xbox. I was worried that they weren't going to have games till 2023 and beyond, and that ended up becoming the truth. But they needed to show that they were committed to gaming, which since that point they've actually done. Who would have dreamed they would have bought Activision and Bethesda, among others, right? So they've 100% proven that they're committed to the content. We're over that. We're over that negativity. But when it comes to other people, they're like, that's going to happen to Game Pass. Well, if you look into why people are leaving Netflix, it's a yearly increase now in prices. They've gone with lesser content and more content that is geared towards a woke audience. People are tired of that whole woke agenda, right? Like, we're seeing more and more of that not being a thing that you know, go woke, go broke. That's like a thing, right? Like, I live in Florida. It's not like the woke stuff doesn't get stood for down here. It just kind of is what it is. But that's a totally different situation than Xbox Game Pass, and people don't really understand that. The other thing that I see is every single thing that has to do with Activision. Oh, they're looking into this. They're doing this. They retweet the articles over and over again, hoping that Microsoft doesn't buy Activision. Like, listen, the other option to Microsoft not buying Activision is the status quo, right? And people don't want to work for Activision, the status quo. And we need Call of Duty and these games to sell extremely well. Also, I want to see Microsoft buy Activision so we can see some of these other games made again, right? They have so many different classic IP. I would love to see those games get made again. I don't want to see the company that made Crash 4 have to be a Blizzard studio, support studio. How does that make sense? The company that makes Guitar Hero is a Blizzard support studio now? You know, the studio that made Spyro is a support studio for Call of Duty now. Like, that's not what I want. Like, nobody should want that. I don't understand it. But they retweet this stuff ad nauseum, right? Every little thing. Hey, the PlayStation had a 0.2 second frames per second advantage here. Let's retweet that. I can't facepalm hard enough with this stuff. Like, I hate to say this, but some of the extremism, and I know a little something about extremism, has caused me to not play PlayStation for a while. I actually, and people can back this up, I recently made a purchase. I purchased a Halo Reach Xbox 360, right? People that know me know I collect I feel like the Xbox 360 was the last really great console to collect for. It had great custom consoles. You couldn't get all the games digitally, so it was the last console really that you had to buy, the games physically for. Yes, it had a great arcade, introduced all that, which is great, but, and I mean, I already have tons of Xbox 360s and, tons of physical games, but I picked up this bundle of games and stuff, some games that I hadn't even played before. I actually, over the past 3 weeks, have played more on that Xbox 360, which I picked up. I picked that particular Xbox 360 up about a week and a half ago. But I've been playing more on that Xbox 360 than I have on my PS5. Why is that? I mean, I would like to say that I'm just in a mood to do some of that, but I think some of it has to do with, I don't want to play the PlayStation 5 right now. I'm kind of disgusted with that whole situation. The fans are some of the fans, not all of them. I'm really cool with a lot of the PlayStation 5 fans. Like I said, I'm going to have to go through my feeds and clean things up a little bit, unfollow some people, follow some different people. I would really, like to kind of get back on this kind of common ground because I think the PS5 is a great console. I'm not even finished with Horizon Forbidden West yet. I'm not even finished with the Uncharted collection. But it's like, man, I'm struggling with reasons to continue to play PS5. It's like, it's got me feeling a certain kind of way. And again, I've always felt like if I've got to be upset, if talking about video games is going to upset me, then I won't do it anymore. If doing a podcast and having opinions and things like that is ruining things for me, I'll quit. I'll quit that podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like it shouldn't really come in between my. I just want to go back to kind of enjoying the games, and I think that some of the extremism is becoming a little bit much and a little bit ridiculous and silly, to say the least. I don't know. Like I'm very curious to hear what you guys think, though. Like I've been on Xbox pretty much exclusively for the last month, counting the Xbox Series and now a little bit of 360. Like it's just, and I have stuff to play on PS5. I don't, maybe you guys can sympathize with where I'm coming from. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.